Hi, so welcome back to Real Auto Reports, right here from Real Auto Ranch. We finally have a sunny day and an all-new BMW here to talk about. This is our real first impressions video on the 2014 BMW X5, new for the 2014 model year, so there's a lot to talk about. So let's get started and do the walk around. All right, so from the front, the thing you're going to notice about the redesigned X5 is, well, you can't see it actually, but it has lost some weight. It's also hasn't gained a lot of size. So if it looks familiar or if it doesn't seem all that radically different, BMW's tried to keep the proportions and the design language of the rest of the vehicles that you've seen, probably many of them here at Real Auto Reports, like the M6, the 6 Series we've reviewed, the 3 Series, the 4 Series, all of those vehicles, and you're going to find your nice brand attributes here, like the kidney-shaped grille, the badging on the front that you'd expect, the double circle headlights with the driving lights around them that light up all the time during the day, and then your adaptive headlights here, your turn signals and the eyebrows up over the headlights. This vehicle has the extra package that has the pop-up headlight washers, which is great here in the cold weather climates, even though we're in the warmer weather, although stormy weather lately. This is the first day we've had without rain, hail, and all of that. You have fog lights, the ground effects package, park assist sensors all across the front. This does have the M Sport package, so it does have a slightly different front fascia. And notice these lines here. I'm going to kind of indicate them as they come down the hood. You'll find them on both sides. Those are some design details you're going to find in this redesign, and I like this vehicle a lot. I think it has more of a car sport personality than it does an SUV, and that's exactly what BMW owners are looking for, or people who are looking to get into a BMW. It's the ultimate driving machine, and even though you might want an SUV, you shouldn't have to give up that personality and that look and feel. So here is the X5 for 2014. Let's go around to the side and take a closer look there and see what it looks like. All right, so from the side, a couple of things that we'll point out is this strong beltline detail here that comes through the door handles. Notice how the door handles are bigger at the back, pinch towards the front, and point down the side of the car. Also notice that it slopes downwards towards the front. It gives you that sense of motion as you look at the vehicle. The whole vehicle has that sort of tilt forward look, and that gives it that sporty sense, along with the M Sport package and the extra ground effects that you see along the bottom and these optional $950 20-inch M Sport wheels with this big fat rubber on it. Is going to make this vehicle look a lot sportier than the base model X5 that you could buy. The base model X5 will have a much smaller rim on it, and it just won't look quite as aggressive and ready to tackle the curves. So this is definitely an upper end package. You also have the blacking on this one, so all the trim is blacked out. The black roof rails here for your ski racks and your luggage racks and so on and so forth. You have your turn signals in the mirror, and these mirrors do power fold, so you can fold them in for parking on the street. But at least I haven't figured out how to do it. It does not seem that they power fold when you lock the doors. So that's interesting. You do have your touch door handles here for locking the car, and that'll be the one-touch lock and the grab to open to unlock. So a lot of neat features, a lot of detail in the body here, the in cuts that you'll notice on all the BMWs these days here in the front. And it's just a great look. I love the sportiness of this vehicle. I also like how the integration of the spoiler here in the back doesn't really give you a lot of overhang. It looks nice and tightly integrated into the design, and it's got this extra trim piece here that fills the gaps so that visually this looks like a tight, sporty, coupe-like vehicle as opposed to a big lumbering SUV. It's going to really please those who like to drive, especially from a looks perspective, if you're into a sports car but need an SUV in your family. Let's go take a look at the back. All right, so from the back, you're going to notice kind of your typical BMW back end. And in the redesign, I really like the way that this vehicle comes together with the LED taillights. You have your inset and integrated into the bumper. dual exhaust housing here. You have your park assist that goes along the back. You've got the hook, the door here for the towing. If you need to have it towed or pull, you pop this out and they have a little tool that goes in there. Your branding, and notice the taillights here, very dimensional. You can't see it very well in these video angles, but it is a dimensional rear taillight, and it looks a lot like the other brand vehicles, you know, in the BMW family. So if you go look at a 3 Series or a 4 Series, 5, 6, so on and so forth, you're going to notice this consistent taillight, something BMW's been very good at over the years. Of course, you have your rear camera hanging down here and your touch to open with your power liftgate. This is really nice because it lets you put packages in easily when you only have one hand, or you can open it from the key fob. Now, this is the odd thing about a lot of these larger vehicles. I've mentioned this on our LX review of the Lexus, and there's a host of vehicles that still have this drop liftgate like this, where you have to open the other side to get to the full load deck. I find this annoying, frankly. I noticed that the Range Rover Sport did not have this that we just tested, but the X5 does, and several other vehicles in the class still do retain this kind of drop liftgate door. Now, I'm told this is more of a European thing, but in today's day and age where we're starting to see vehicles like the new Cadillac Escalade with the wave your foot under it and the whole back liftgate open so you can just set your stuff in, this is a little bit of a deterrent to me, because in order to power close the door, I first have to get another free hand, lift this up and close it, and then hit the button. It also won't let you close this from inside the vehicle. So there's a bunch of things in this that, you know, I think that I'm surprised that they carried it over to the redesign. But I also know that there are a lot of consumers I've talked to that like that lower load gate because you can sit on it like I was just doing. So you get the positives and the negatives, and we'll tell you more about how we feel about it in our real video, the real review. So let's go take a look at the inside. All right, so from the driver's seat, what you're going to find on the inside of this BMW X5 for 2014 is a totally redesigned dashboard and interior language. It's going to look more like the 6 Series and more like the 4 Series and the 3 Series, and, well, you get the message. It's going to have your big display with the split capability to show things on the right and the left side while you're driving. You'll have your standard 2-dial dash display for your speedo and your RPM gauge, and then of course the smaller ones for your temperature gauge and your fuel gauge. Classic BMW. And then the computer stuff all along the bottom, like you would expect if you've been in other BMWs recently. You of course have some changes for 2014, which would include the center stack and the shift area. In here you have your dial with the, you can write on the top of the dial that you use to control the navigation and entertainment system. That right on the top with your finger is for the navigation mostly, and it works really well. It's got handwriting recognition, and it's something we've even seen on the Audis, the new Audis that we've seen, the lower end A3, the entry-level luxury. So it's neat to see this technology being used more and more. You also have your door lock switches up here on the door, and your window switches all along, and your mirror here switches all along the door armrest here, which is something different than the early generation X5s. And some people like the window switches in the console. Some people prefer them on the door. So for those who like it on the door, you're getting your wish with this 2014. Something else that's interesting is that really far forward on the door is the rear liftgate automatic opener button. And it's a bit of a reach for me at my height, but you know, if you sat closer to the wheel, it might be a little easier to reach. Of course, you have auto headlights, paddle shifters, pretty much everything you can imagine. We've got the M Sport package in this with the M door sills and the M seats, so you have adjustable bolsters and a 2-position memory seat that is here on the side of the seat. So you do have to make sure that you know it's there. You also have a heated steering wheel. I like to point this out in the BMWs because it is right in front of your tilt and telescopic electric control for the wheel. So you have to know that it's there, otherwise you're going to search for that heated steering wheel button a lot unless you're really familiar with BMWs. All in all, I like the 3 Series, I like the 4, I like the 5. To say I wouldn't like the interior and this would be a lie. It is a nice look. I love the metal looking finish, and I think it is a great vehicle even if it is almost $84,000. Let's go take a look under the hood and we'll tell you about the big V8 power plant. All right, so under the hood, what you're going to find is the 4.4 liter V8 twin turbo power. So TwinPower turbo, I always get that backwards, but it says it right up here on the top, TwinPower turbo from BMW. It's going to be 445 horsepower and take you 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. Mile per gallon's not going to be quite so good with 14 miles per gallon in the city, and it is going to do 22 out on the highway with a 17 mile per gallon combined rating from the EPA. So that's not too bad in a combined rating for such a high horsepower SUV and a big old honking V8 under the hood. Now, what I would like to say is that since this is the top of the line X5, biggest engine, you can get the smaller engine. It'll do 0 to 60 in the low 6s. And so that'll get better gas mileage. So you do have some options there, but this is definitely the flagship model from a power and performance perspective. Add the M Sport package and it really looks the part. Now you are mated to a multi-speed automatic transmission that you would expect. And so what it means is that you have a lot of technology trying to get this vehicle more fuel efficiency as you're driving along. And I think they've done a nice job. If you like the turbo power feel, that real aggressive push you back in your seat when you hit on the accelerator pedal, this vehicle will get it going for you and give you that experience. Now, we need to tell you what we think about driving this car from a first impressions perspective, so let's jump in the driver's seat and see what it's like. From a real first impressions driving perspective, the 2014 BMW X5 is exactly what you'd expect it to be. It is fast and powerful and crisp to drive. It has a great sense of handling and road holding. It's a vehicle that really utilizes that twin turbo power and doesn't have a lot of lag. The steering is precise, like you would expect the ultimate driving machine to have. It is, well, the best way to put it is a BMW, and it's an SUV, but it's almost the embodiment of a car in an SUV. So we'll have to check this vehicle out more as we drive it for the real video, the real review. So stay tuned for that, and we'll have the real wrap-up coming up next. So that's the Real First Impressions video edition on this 2014 BMW X5. This is going to be the top of the line. It's the, well, you know, they have that long name for all of these now, but this is going to be the 5.0 or the 5.0 with the 4.4 liter V8, and it is a twin turbo powered motor, 445 horsepower, 0 to 60, right about 4.3 seconds is tested by other people, not by us. Up here at the altitude, it's going to be a tad bit slower because we're a mile high, but it is a fantastic vehicle. But you're not going to want to look at the gas mileage much because being a high performance, high luxury SUV, it's going to be not so good in the fuel department. 14 city, 22 highway, which isn't too bad, and 17 miles per gallon combined. It'll price out as tested with an MSRP of $83,975, so might as well round it up to $84,000. And you can push this baby all the way past $88,000, $89,000 if you keep loading it up with options that we don't have here, like the tech package with the adaptive cruise and some of the other safety features like blind spot monitoring and such. But this pearlescent white vehicle, this X5 crossover, well, actually, it's an SUV. It's not a crossover. It's a full-size SUV, basically, mid-size really, with an optional 7-passenger seating capacity, so you can get a $1,700 third row option. But you're going to want to consider that carefully because it is going to be really only usable in a pinch. But all in all, I like the new look of the X5 for 2014. It's a fantastic performer. The electric steering makes it a pretty crisp steering and driving experience. And, well, we'll tell you more of what we think in our real video, the real review, coming up down the road. I'm Jonathan McGrew. This is Real Auto Reports. We'll see you down the road.